What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for a video I absolutely hate doing because it's the start of March and the season is still going ahead despite all the difficulties. I don't want to talk about a coaching change because we talked about it all last season post, I don't know, since February, and it was getting jarring because you're in a bad situation the moment you start doing that. However, I cannot ignore it because it's coming from good sources. And on top of that, the club and management, I think, made it very clear that a coaching change could very possibly happen already at the end of this season. That's why I need to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. And the news is that Conte, despite everything, is not 100% ready to stay at Napoli. That's one. And two, that Gasperini dreams about coaching Juve. That's two of the names out there, and basically the two biggest names out there that the media is working around. So before we get into it, as always, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, as always, bell notification on, and let's talk about a potential, I would say, shock change. Okay, so like I said at the start of the video, I don't like to talk about this topic at this moment in time. That's one. Two, because we did it last season all the time, and that was after year 3. And point 3 is that it's being pushed so much that I'm not even sure how it's gonna help this team from now until the end of the season. So I think Giuntoli made it very clear with his statement, almost 24 hours, that he's not fully backing Thiago Motta by saying we're backing him, we support the project. However, it's a must that we need to get Champions League. We all know that it is a must. I get it. But if you officially back your coach 100%, you don't add that part to it. Even if you believe, and even if you think that the fact that you put that out there in the open, in my opinion, goes against what you said minutes before that. So that's why I'm very skeptical about all that Motta has been saying, that Giuntoli has been saying. And then the news comes out, about the locker room, about, players not being happy, so on, so on. And then come Nico Schira and every other single outlet out there saying that, first off, Gasperini is on his way out from Atalanta, which I'm still not 100% convinced about. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not so sure about it because Lokman is leaving. So that's that. However, Nico Schira is saying that Gasperini's dream is to return to the club because he was a coach in the youth sector. We all know that, I think 20 years ago, maybe even more than 20 years ago, that his dream is to return. That is, if he leaves Atalanta and the possibility is open that, you can join Juve, then that is his absolute priority, joining Juve. What I would say is, one, right now, in our situation, I cannot think about a more horrible fit. And again, there's no proof that it's a horrible fit. However, he is a control freak in terms of it's his way, period. He demands a lot from the players, which is all good and well. I think we all want that. However, we already have locker room problems. We have players who are not giving it all. Some who are already playing week in, week out. How on planet Earth is that going to work with Gasperini? That's one. And two, he wants a lot of control what happens with the players. We're not that club. We know that management, Giuntoli in this case, has a big say. I don't see how that's going to work. It feels like a complete mismatch all over, like all around. That's one. And also his age. That's another point I'm struggling with. When Giuntoli comes in and he's like, we're going to do it this way. Young coach, unexperienced. Young team, unexperienced, but we're going to build. If you bring in Gasperini or Conte, you throw that out of the window after year 1. And it's not me saying that it's a mistake because you need to wait 4 or 5 years until it finally kicks in. I'm not saying that. But if you're so certain and set on to sack Allegri and go that route, and then 1 year later you're like, forget about it, we're just going to go back. That is horrible. That's mismanagement of an insane level, because now you have a squad and an idea. You move players out of the club. You brought in players into the club with an idea that's not in line what you're trying to do right now by hiring one of these guys. So that's that, which is already a bad sign, telling you they have no clue. They really have no clue. They are just very reactionary and they don't believe in what they're doing. That is a very worrying point. That's the second point. 3 is Antonio Conte, who I still think he's gonna stay at Napoli. I know we all know how he is. If things don't go his way, he's out. You know, he was winning with us and he was out because he was not getting Iturbe and Cuadrado and those type. Like, he's out. And Napoli had a horrible January. They sold Kvara. They did absolutely nothing. Neres down. So that is potentially an idea of, okay, he's going to leave because he's not going to sit there. But let's say he wins the league. Is he going to leave? Even if he doesn't win the league, is he really going to leave? That's that. Milan are in for him. Is he going to go Milan? I'm not so sure, because Ibra kind of messed up last season or this past summer when he was close to bringing him in, but he didn't really punch for it. That's that. If the possibility opens up that he can join Juve, he's going to walk to this club. We knew that. Like, we all know that. Despite Netfet not being there anymore, the fact that Agnelli is gone, I think he will run for opportunity to join this club again. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to do that. He is a top coach. I think nobody is going to debate if he's a top coach. What I'm going to debate is my point I'm just made. You set out a thing, you throw it out of the window, and now you bring in a coach with extreme high demands in terms of, I want it this way, and that's it. How is that going to work when the mindset right now is the complete opposite of that? That for me is very worrying, more so than the quality of these coaches, which I don't think anyone is going to debate, by the way. However, it's the management. I'm looking at it and I'm like, do you guys even know what you want? Are you convinced about what you're doing? Because it doesn't feel like that. And I don't know how on earth you're going to be successful, even with a top coach, when you have a management who is not convinced in their beliefs, who is not convinced in what they want to do, what they're trying to do. For me, that is so, so worrying. I feel for Motta right now because I expect the difficulties, maybe not as much as we're experiencing right now. That I'm going to admit. But that the club is not really backing him makes it worse. That the club is not stepping up for their coach, going against the players who probably are not even going to be here right now, for me, is mind-boggling. It feels like they're not convinced. They don't believe. They want to shift blame, and they're not ready to own up for mistakes, to own up for their decisions. So you can change the coach, but all those things I talked about, it actually strikes fear into me for a simple fact that I don't see how this is going to work when your club is not convinced in their beliefs. That is what I'm saying. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about both options. Will you move on Motta? Do you think he is the main problem? Do you think it's going to click? It's going to work? If you move on Motta, you bring one of those two? Or do you think it's more deeper than just a coach right now? Because I agree with the fact that Motta is making mistakes, but I don't think it's a sole issue. Like I said last season, I thought Allegri was part of it and players. And I named the players and I named the coach. And now it's the same thing. And it feels the same situation. So let me know in the comments what you think. Like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel. And I will speak to you guys tomorrow again. Post game, because we do play Verona and we must 100% win that game. Ciao.